Hello and welcome to the Pandaverse. I'm Elgon, the E in C and E,
I'm Christine, the C in the C and E.
and we have a couple of people with us today. We have Tony Ollivier, author from Vancouver, and we also have Matthew Harms. He's an author as well, and he's from the New York City area. I think you're from Brooklyn or the Bronx? Brooklyn, right?
Born and raised in the Bronx, living in Westchester County now.
Westchester. Oh, yeah, there you go. Nice section. I used to live up in Connecticut. So
Oh, okay.
been through there a few times.
Yeah, Elgin's lived everywhere.
Yeah, I'm kind of a nomad. I just say, hey, can you put me up for a week? I'm gonna go couch surf. I go, oh, okay, come on.
Well, I might hope
he
that
even,
everywhere.
he even surfed on my couch there for a short period of time. Not living, just visiting.
Just surfing.
Yeah, just surfing.
Just surfing.
All right. Well, Matt, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. Tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Matt Harms, author. Been writing since I am old enough to know how to write. Gave that up for a little while because I had to get a job, or at least that's what people told me. And then realized a few years ago that that's not entirely true. Writing can be a job. So I am back to working on my own books. But as of the beginning of 2020, I'm also a professional ghostwriter, helping other people realize their dreams of creating books, shorter range written content, really anything with the written word that they maybe thought they couldn't do.
Wonderful. And you also have a podcast, right?
I do, yes, which is how you and I met.
Yes, it is. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? How many people have you interviewed roughly?
Oh, as of Thursday, 109.
Wow. And what was your most memorable one?
Is that a trick question?
Maybe.
I mean, in all fairness, a lot of my guests have had podcasts. You are one of only maybe 2 or 3 whose shows I have reciprocated on. So I'm going to let that answer the question, if I may.
Okay. So you seem like a pretty nice and outgoing guy. I mean, from what I've seen of you, what would you say you were like in high school?
Ooh, high school is interesting. High school is interesting. That stereotype of a writer, that was me, a little bit reclusive, a little bit, not really knowing where to fit in. In order to try to fit in, there was lots of different things I did. One of my most notable would be getting paid to write other people's term papers so they can get better grades.
Wow.
Yeah, I did some of that in college. It was a living.
I didn't do that.
You missed out.
I think I'm missing out. Yeah.
You can always go back. Just, don't broadcast that on your show.
Oh, I was pretty reclusive in high school too. I think that's like a standard for us writers. Tony, what were you like?
I was a classic nerd. I was part of the computer science, electronics, AV squad.
Nice.
Did you wear a Nikon camera?
No, I didn't have a Nike. I probably had pens in my pocket though.
A pocket.
Not quite close. I was close to the pocket protector crowd.
And Elgon, well, you were in a band, right?
I was in a rock band, but I was also a nerd. So
you were rocking the nerd out of you.
And I was also in the athletic program. So I didn't fit anywhere. So
that's one of the things about high school. You don't fit anywhere, but you try to fit everywhere.
Right. Yeah. I tell you what, if somebody offered me like $1 million to go back to high school, I'd be like, here, keep it. Like, I'm good. I like the adult life.
Yeah. I'd say that's okay. It just put me in a higher tax bracket. So,
whole expression, if I knew then what I knew now, that's okay. I'm happy knowing now what I should have known then and not trying to redo it.
Exactly. So you've written some books. Do you have any books that are published?
I do. So my first book is Employed, A Career Readiness Manual. And I wrote that originally the 2017, and then I republished it. But it was designed to help address some of the interviewing issues I found when I was working in the corporate world with young people who just had no interpersonal skills. And then it kind of became like a life manifesto of, wait, before you interview for a job, like, why the hell did I wind up in this career that I hate? Oh yeah, because everyone told me that, what I wanted to do wasn't realistic. So I put a different spin on the book of making sure I'll help you get good at interviewing, But make sure you want to do it first, because that's half the battle. If you don't really want to do it, you're not going to do well no matter how hard you try. Then I published Grow Up, No Really, which was all about the life skills I didn't learn in school, high school and college. Spent a lot of money on a degree I didn't want in finance, never learned how to balance a checkbook, never learned how to decide whether to lease or finance a car, just things you kind of figure out as you go. And then in October of last year, I put out Should Have Known, my first novel, which is a psychological thriller with religious, fanatical, and mental health undertones.
Oh, nice. I would have to say that there are quite a few businesses who could benefit from your first 2 books for sure. Being in a career where I'm hiring people, it's amazing how I feel like the younger generation are a lot different than the older generation when it comes to their working styles. It's a complete, just different pace.
They have different priorities.
Yes. Their attention spans are a little bit shorter. So it's a lot different, I think, nowadays than it was, back then.
It's always a bad sign when during the interview they pick up their phone and answer somebody on it.
I always used to say that I would never be that when I was your age guy. But even with the phone, Elgon, a lot of the interviews we would do, our preliminary screening was a video interview like this. So we would get these pre-recorded videos and some of these kids would be like, oh my goodness, I want to hire them. And then you'd bring them in for the second interview, which was in person. And it was like, who are you? And what did you do to the person that was on my computer screen?
Exactly.
What do they say? That you have like 3 faces you show the world. So you got your computer face, you got your in-person face, and you got your cell phone face. So, it's just changed up a little bit. We're in the year 2021.
When I was out in California, I went to an audition for Let's Make a Deal with an actress friend of mine, and they recorded that whole thing. And I was like, man, can I get a copy of this? Because I said, some funny stuff there.
I wish I would have seen you on Let's Make a Deal.
Well, obviously I didn't get on, but she didn't either. But
still, it was an experience.
He's lying. He has the footage somewhere.
It was fun.
Hey, so Matthew, I got a question. So I'm looking at your LinkedIn portfolio, and you've got a long history with finance. At what point did you go, I got to get out of this corporate thing and do something else? Or what was that? Was there a tipping point at a certain point, or what happened?
There was, and that's kind of the thing with the corporate world. No one tells you when you're younger that there are other options. It's like, go to school, get a good job. And in finance or the corporate world in general, as time went on, I made more money, had less freedom. Made more money, had more stress. And it became this self-fulfilling cycle of, well, now I can't just stop working because I'm making so much money. This is paid for, that's paid for. The end of 2018, I finally had enough where I literally couldn't sleep. I was in a managerial position. I was getting phone calls at 4 a.m, 5 a.m. from employees who were like, oh, sorry, sick, not coming to work tomorrow. Things that I never really did when I was in that position because my work ethic was too serious. But now I'm hiring these younger kids who are like, oh, no, went out partying last night, not coming to work. And that fell entirely on me. So now 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I can't go back to sleep. I'm trying to figure out how are we going to open up? How are we going to get through the day? Because it wasn't a back office job either. If you notice, a lot of my financial experience was retail financial sales. Yeah. So you're in a bank location with cash and customers, and you can't just say, oh, well, all right, we'll get through the day with just me. No, I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. I'll be my next crime book. So the end of 2018, I finally realized I would rather be broke, homeless, and figuring out how to eat than have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
That's pretty inspiring. So what inspires you now?
Not going back there. That's number one. I've got to say, if there was ever a worse time, it couldn't have been like a year before a pandemic started. To quit your job, not have that security coming in, or not qualify for the unemployment, or all these other things that a lot of people are like, this is great. I was like, wow, my timing is impeccable. but there have been a lot of benefits, right? I was starting to do this, like meeting people like yourself, Christine, and podcasting. And I've had people on my show from Czech Republic, Australia, things that I never would have done if I was still stuck in that box of, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. You work 9 to 5 or 8 to 7 as it was some days. And my inspiration now is my children, my family, like making sure that they realize that I'm here. I may work more hours than I ever did, but I'm home, I'm happy, and I'm helping other people achieve their dreams, whether that being coaching them to write their books or in certain cases, just flat out writing it for them and putting their name on it.
That's really inspiring, Matt. That's really inspiring. Okay, so let's have a fun question, shall we? Are you ready for it?
Well, I'm ready.
Okay. If a penguin walked through your door right now wearing a sombrero, what would you say to it? And why is he there?
Okay, I like to believe he's here because he came to bring me a margarita and a plane ticket to go back with him to wherever he came from, that he needed that sombrero, because it's still pretty cool up here in the Northeast and I do need a vacation. So my question is going to be, where are you from and when does our flight leave to go back?
How about you, Tony?
My question would be, I would actually be a warning. I'd say, like, my liquor cabinet is locked and go back to where you came from because I'm not sharing.
How about you, Elgon?
I'd get in my roommate's car and drive him to nearest Mexican restaurant.
You know what I would do? I'd have a shot with him. I'd be like, you can stay for a while.
I don't know, penguin wearing a sombrero, he might not need any more alcohol.
Am I the only one who noticed that of all 4 of us, there was some type of alcohol in every single answer?
Yeah.
Is that saying that we all need some alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, the sombrero is a definite sign.
Yeah.
There's got to be some tequila in the situation.
It has to be. I feel like, is your name Jose? Where's your Cuervo? Oh, okay. So now, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
The ability to stop time.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I would pick that because I'll wrestle that with time travel, but you don't want to go back. There's been too many things like butterfly effect and all of that. I'd rather just pause time and take the chance to get it right instead of regretting and wanting to go back and screwing things up worse.
That's a good one. How about you, Tony?
Flight. I dream that I'm flying all the time. It's a reoccurring. And it's funny, not so much flying, but I get to jump and I get to jump high and I take big leaps. So I think that would if I had a choice, that would be my first choice.
Would you have a cape?
Probably not.
No cape.
No cape, no.
No cape are necessary.
Yeah, I got Have you seen a picture of Batman? I got a Batman behind me on my floor right now. So yeah, I've got a big superhero kind of collection in my room here. But yeah, no cape. Just be able to up and away would be great.
You'd be like, I am Tony Ollivier.
That's right.
Elgon, what would you be? What would your power be?
I'd be invisible because I could wreak some havoc that way.
You would. You would wreak havoc. I would want to read minds, maybe. Because that could be good and bad.
You don't want to be around me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, God, you weren't kidding when you said it's a mess in there.
Or teleportation. Like, you know how cool it'd be to just think of a place and then you like teleport there. So like, if I want to go to the pyramids, be like, pyramids, I'm there. That would be cool.
That would actually be my second one behind stopping time.
It's pretty cool, right? Okay, so what would the name of your debut album be?
I'm assuming that's me, right? I can't stall any more time.
That's right. It's all you.
Uno más. Since we're on the penguins and sombreros and drinking, I might as well just keep it rolling. Let's go with uno más. And you can interpret that however you want. One more book, one more drink.
I think that is a great title for a debut album. Now you got to do it. Now you're going to just have to.
And then you could write
with that.
Then you could write a sequel. No mas.
No mas.
Or mucho mas.
Mucho mas. It could be a trilogy.
There you go. Oh my goodness. I feel like this has to be a collaborative effort now.
Oh, we have to do this. We could write a book trilogy, and they're the titles. Boom, right there, laid out.
And if someone's ever like, where the hell did you come up with that crazy idea? Just replay the video and be like, here you go, say no more.
What we need to do in the theme of being a ghostwriter, we would have to invent somebody to be the author of this book. So, it's kind of a reverse ghostwriter type thing where we would actually, even better, we'd pick somebody that we know is dead. Okay. And then we write it under their name.
As long as the royalties don't go to them, I mean, I guess that's okay.
But well, it's a real ghost that way. So.
Oh, wow, man. Wow. You know what my title for my album would be? It would be One Squirrel Too Many. That's what it would be.
How about a squirrel for the road?
A squirrel for the road.
Is it bad that I'm trying to figure out how many squirrels would be one too many?
I mean, can you really have too many squirrels?
You came up with the title, not me. So,
well, when I used to live in Florida, we had kamikaze squirrels that they would wait until you were like coming down the road, and then they would dart out in front of you to see if
it's like that Geico commercial. Is that what that was? The squirrels, like they do the fist bumps.
No, it was like I was driving with my daughters to school. It was like, almost 2 miles away to the school. So, of course, they didn't want to walk there every morning. So I would get them in the car, and I'm driving down the road, and it's like every 20 feet, it's like a squirrel would dart across the road.
So, Matt, you live in New York City, right? What are some of your favorite things to do there? That's one place I've always wanted to go but I've never gone.
So right now there's not a whole lot to do. So we're going to rewind until
let's rewind.
We're going to rewind to when life was normal. I am one of the worst New Yorkers on earth. So I tell everyone I've never been to the Statue of Liberty. I've never went to the World Trade Center. It was there. Never been to the Freedom Tower. I could keep going of the things I have not done. However, one of the best things to do in New York City is people watch, and it's completely free. So whenever I had to be in the city for work or anything, I would love to find the closest street cart. And for those of you who don't know what a street cart is, it's this little tin square where Middle Eastern people sell halal food, which is lamb and chicken over rice, i.e. dubbed street meat, in the city. And I would just sit on a park bench or a building steps and eat my street meat and watch people.
Oh, that sounds splendid.
You have no idea the story ideas you can come up with just watching people walk down the street.
Yeah, just listening to their conversations too.
Yeah, and it's totally free. Minus the street meat, which is only like $6, so you're still good.
Eat meat. See, I'm from this I'm from a village. It's called the Village of Monroeville. So it's very small, like 1,000 people, maybe. My graduating class was like 60 people. So going to New York City is going to be like an adventure of a lifetime. It's going to be like...
it'll be totally culture shock.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it, though.
When you come, let me know. I will show you where to find the best street meat, because there is a fine line between a great experience and food poisoning.
Nice. Tony, have you ever been to New York City?
Yeah, a few times. And I've traveled a lot, and what I really like to do is walk. And so I was there on a weekend on a Sunday morning. I got up, walked to Times Square, and then took a right turn, and then went all the way to Central Park and kind of the upper west side, I guess. And just wandered around. It was a beautiful day. Yeah, I had a little bit of street meat, ran into a couple of flea markets. It was just fabulous. I'd never been to Central Park before, and it was interesting to kind of walk through there. And what I realized is walking around New York was everything was absolutely familiar, because I'd seen it so much on TV and movies, and all the streets. Like I think I've been here before, and no, I've just been to seen multiple action scenes or love scenes or whatever.
It was deja vu all over the place.
Yeah. It was really interesting doing that, right? Even just going by 30 Rock Rockefeller Center because I used to watch 30 Rock and then all the, all the late night stuff. It's just so interesting to see how deja vu it is when you first go to New York.
See, I'm afraid that I'm going to be like that movie, The Out of Towners, with Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn, because they're from Ohio and they like get robbed, they like get lost, they lose all their money. Like that's like my fear.
Those are all possibilities.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to dress like not country, I think.
Dress
like a crazy homeless woman.
Okay.
The worst part about New York, though, is you could walk into like Saks Fifth Avenue or any of those stores, and you're going to get robbed and lose all your money, but it's going to be completely above board.
Yeah, it's just a matter of who filches it.
Right.
I see.
Hey Matthew, I've got a fiction question for you. What writers do you read and voraciously eat up, or are you kind of a buffet, a little bit here and there, kind of a reader?
Really, I can read a little bit of everything, but my 3 or 4 favorite writers are Stephen King, Terry Brooks, Terry Goodkind, and George R.R. Martin.
Very good choices. Right there. Great choices. So you've interviewed lots and lots of people. Do you have like one that was your favorite? I mean, not me.
other than Christine, because we know that she was who was your second favorite?
If I had to pick my second favorite, it would probably be Jennifer Ann Gordon. So she's a horror writer. I was recently on a 3-way kind of just roundtable podcast with her and Christian Teague, and we got very deep, just had some amazing thought-provoking questions. I don't know, I can't explain that dynamic, just always gets me thinking in a way I wasn't before.
That is those are the best kind of conversations to have.
Yeah. And
good ideas come from things like that. I mean, you can't beat conversations like that.
And it makes me realize I want to write horror, but I haven't quite pushed myself there. So one day.
You can do it. You can do it.
Now we've got some horror authors to introduce you to.
And
Okay.
we're looking for horror authors. I'm just saying.
Oh, no challenge or anything, right?
Hey, I'm just saying.
All right. As long as there's nothing too creepy, I'll give it a shot.
I don't know. You got to go through Elgon first. No, just kidding.
Yeah, it's got to be creepy to pass my my gate there.
Oh, then we're good. I usually have that filter. Did I go too far? And then I'm like, no, you can't really go too far.
You can't go too far with horror. It's like let's take this bucket of guts and just throw it at people. See how they react.
That's how I feel about psychological thrillers too. I've had people tell me like, oh my goodness, how could they do that? I'm like, oh, they could.
They could.
Right? If you want to know the rationale, read the whole book. So I'm not going to tell you how.
Yeah,
you just haven't been in the right neighborhoods in the big cities.
Yeah, people, they're different, and they think in a lot of different kind of ways. It may not be the way that other people think, but as a writer, I'm sure all of us, we think outside of the box, and we can kind of see where they're coming from. I don't know if that makes us crazy, or you know what I mean?
I'm not sure if you and I had this conversation, Christine, but I definitely had it with a few of my guests about how writers' internet accounts, like my Google, should come with a warning, like I'm a writer. Because if anyone in law enforcement ever searched my Google search history, I'm going to jail. They're going to pin so many things on me that I did not actually do, and it was a research, I swear.
Yes.
Well, you have the strangest notions pop into your head at times.
Yeah.
Like, we have an outside doorbell that has a motion sensor on it, of course, and it'll go off sometimes just because something blew past it enough to set it off. But until I realized that, because I'd lived here for a while, and it kept going off, and I kept looking out to see if everybody was outside. But it would go off, and I would be like going, okay, there's a ghost downstairs.
What do you think the worst thing you've Googled is? And like for me, I think My most recent one was how many mosquitoes would it take to sting somebody until they died? And the answer is only one.
Really?
Yeah, because they carry diseases.
Oh, so it's a really
I mean, mine was probably how easy is it to mail order ricin?
yeah.
That's a good one.
That's definitely one that you get Homeland Security. Not to go.
Right?
Yeah.
I wasn't lying, so I'm just hoping no one around me falls ill from unexpected circumstances, or that's coming right back to me.
Oh, and when I was in the military, I used to work with NSA people. So these people have no sense of humor at all.
They're watching this video. They're listening right now, and they're just like,
I mean, they used to you had to, because they had a security clearance. Whenever I changed bases, I had to interview with somebody from OSI, and they would hook me up to a polygraph and ask me all kinds of questions, most unusual questions. They would ask you to elicit an extreme reaction from you. And one of the questions, I thought it was one of those ringer questions. He said, "Have you ever engaged in bizarre sex with an animal?" And I said, "What do you consider bizarre?"
Yeah. What crosses the line for you? Yeah.
And the guy's straight face looking at me, and he looks up and meets my eyes, and I go, "You have no sense of humor, do you?" He goes, "I can't afford to have one." I said, "That's sad."
Wow.
Now I regret that I haven't written that scene yet, because I don't even have like an alibi of, no, I swear it was for this.
Sure. I'm going to see a headline, man in New York City mails ricin. I'll be like, oh, we knew him.
Pull the video down or you're an accomplice.
How
about a guy that mails it to himself and then puts out this whole thing about somebody sending ricin to me, trying to kill me?
Okay.
I mean, there's a story there. You just got to dig a little for it.
Several stories there.
Oh, what do you think? What was have you ever had anybody say anything like completely off the wall during one of your interviews? Like just something you remember, you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, he hadn't talked to me yet, so.
Oh, that's true. That's right. You haven't talked to Elgon.
It's funny. I actually can't think. I can tell you I've had a dozen bank conversations where someone sat at my desk and said something completely off the wall, but never on my podcast. I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, that means your time is coming.
It must be. Like, I've had a bank customer come and sit down and ask me, like, if they can use a phone because they need to call the credit card department because they can't from their house because their phone's being tapped, and the people who are, fraudulently using their card are waiting for them to call so they can get their security numbers. But nothing even close on my podcast. I feel cheated.
I feel cheated for you.
That's legit.
Dang.
I had a guy when I worked in retail. He came up to the customer service desk and was asking if he used our phone, and I said, "Is it a local call?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I just got to call my bookie."
Sure, here you go.
Sure.
That's funny. Well, I once had a guy come in wearing shorts, carrying a Tickle Me Elmo American flag, and he had a skull cap on, and he just wanted to say, hey. He just waved the flag, and he left. Hey.
Place of business or to your podcast?
It was business, to the business. I may have a picture of that. May have snuck one in.
Was he pushing a baby carriage?
Nope, just carrying Tickle Me Elmo.
Well, he wasn't doing it to conceal the fact that he had just withdrawn a large sum of cash out of the bank.
Yeah, he just want to stop in real quick, just to be like, hey.
I'll top that strictly with a New York City freak occurrence that might be the freakiest thing I've ever seen in New York City. A gentleman probably in his 60s riding a bicycle wearing women's lingerie with everything hanging out over the seat of the bicycle because, again, it's women's lingerie, with a chihuahua in the handle basket.
I don't have words for that.
It was like a wreck because I kept staring like, stop. It could not stop staring.
I was with you up to the chihuahua. That went over the...
Well, where else do you carry your chihuahua except in front of a,
He didn't have much other fabric around. I mean...
Yeah.
The poor dog. Poor
Well,
thing.
you can tell the dog had
You
a
guys
look
know
like
what
he
the
was jumping out
Chihuahua
of
was thinking?
Oh my gosh.
The
Oh.
Chihuahua's up there going, I don't know this guy.
He was looking for your car, Elgin, to jump out and play kamikaze. Like, save me from this
There you
man.
Yeah,
Kamikaze
today I'm a squirrel.
Oh gosh, you guys, it's been so fun today. So Matt, tell us where people can find you.
You can find me at Pen for Hire, all spelled out, nyc.com. That's my ghostwriting site. You could also go to Matthew B. Harms, HARMS.com. That's my author site. I'm also on Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all pretty much some variation of Pen for Hire NYC.
Very nice. Very nice. It has been such a fun interview today.
I had a blast.
Oh my gosh, been such a fun interview. And I do want to take 1 second. We lost a dear friend today. She was on our show regularly and she passed away today because of COVID. So we would like to, wish her family the best and know that we are thinking of you during this very hard time and that we really, really, really loved and adored Christine Davis. So fly high, friend.
Yeah.
Fly high.